Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of my Bloodborne effective run. No boss fight today. We are not going to be going after Logarius. I think I said at the end of the last episode, I decided against fighting him. If you're feeling confident, there's really no reason you couldn't. He's, especially with the build we're going for, parryable, very, very parryable. But I've decided against fighting him here. So instead we're going to go through the lecture building and the Nightmare Frontier, the Nightmare Frontier, and getting what we can. Now there is a reason to go this way, and I do need to correct something. One thing I need to correct is that it is not possible to get a +9.
What a joy it is to behold the divine. It must be such a pleasure. You're in my debt, you know. You're nigh on a beast of the field. But here you are, treading a measure with the gods. Are your feet as fat as your wits? Oh, cease this dithering. Take the plunge. Throw yourself to the wolves.
Anybody who is familiar with the Soul series knows exactly that voice and exactly who this is. This is Patches. In this case, Patches the Spider. And he has tricked us into coming into this nightmare to meet the gods, so to speak. So, we'll see how that goes. But yes, I wanted to back off on my statement. You will, in fact, need to farm a total of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You'd need to farm 7 chunks to have a +9 weapon before getting to another boss. Because we've got the 4 chunks over in Canehurst Castle. There are 2 chunks in the Nightmare Frontier, as far as I can tell. There is 1 chunk in the Forbidden Woods. That would bring us to a total of 7. And we need 8 in order to get to +8. There are also 2 before Ludwig in the DLC. If you want to make that run, maybe at the beginning of the next episode, I can just record the path of running to that part of the DLC. We'll see. I'm not so sure how realistic it is to run through the DLC. It's actually quite a challenging area to run through. Let's talk about where we are right now. So we have been absorbed by a giant being. According to Patches, its name or title is Amygdala, which is a play on the words amygdala. And and we find ourselves in this strange lecture building, which seems to be a place of students. Now, I do miss a room here. I just, for whatever reason, walked by the door a million times and couldn't find it. So, we'll see. I'll try to point it out with editing, where it is, or maybe via my commentary I'll be able to as well, but I should definitely include a visual aid. It's actually, you see those 2 pillars right there on the left. It's immediately left now. There's the door that I just could not, for whatever reason, see. I was not being observant enough. I must have been having a tough day. I don't really remember what was going on at this point in in my life. But yeah, so I end up, trying to find it one more time, and then I'm just going to give up, even though it is right here. No, it's not. I don't remember. I'll be able to find it in the editing, and pointed out. If you look on, like, the tell is looking up at the roof. That's where it is. Looking up and seeing the top of the door being different, I think. I'm not sure. But we do revisit and actually get into that room properly when we come back here, because this is not the first time you'll visit. Notice we only have access to the first floor, and the second time we visit, we're going to have access to the second floor. It is at this point that we find ourselves in the Nightmare Frontier, and I do in fact recommend here playing online. You can get a lot more interaction. I do want to hop back over to this section though, because I have missed a item that's really helpful for LPs, and that is the monocular. So if you're wondering where it is, I'm going to show that off right here. Right behind this wagon. I just, for whatever reason, didn't get it. Let's get a shortcut back to the nightmare. So, like I said, plan on being online. At this point, you did miss a couple things. One, I upgraded the Saw Spear to +7, and I put the best gems in it I have. Similar story with Ludwig's Holy Blade. I put the best gems in it for it, and then I've upgraded the Hunter's Pistol to be +2, so I could put in the health regen item. Because I'm not really trying to do damage with the pistol, but I can. This is probably the first time you've seen wild messages if you've just been following my playthrough. Those are messages left by other players. And then there's also these red messages, which are deaths from other players. Now, one thing I do want to say about this area is we are appropriately leveled for it. And it's probably the least offensive of the Poison Swamp areas in the Soulsborne game, I would say. There's not really much need to run through poison. Oh, and I get invaded here by someone who's quite talented at the game. Zombies Party. I'm not really sure why the name, but it was a fun fight. But he's definitely better at the game than me. And there's this very specific point where I noticed that. Because anybody who invades me here has to be in similar level and similar weapon upgrades. So they should have similar equipment to me. And similar blood gems. And as you notice right there, at that one swipe, he nearly takes out all of my health. Or at least 2/3 of it. And I'm not even doing close to that kind of damage, which means he's just got better blood gems than I do. And I zoomed in right there, because he swapped to the church pick. Now the church pick is, with the tools we have at our disposal, within our levels, and the weapons we have for us, the church pick, you have to beat Ludwig. Which we can go fight Ludwig right now if we wanted. But I'm not that good. Ludwig is a very intimidating boss to me. It's currently who I'm stuck on in my arcane playthrough. And I've gone out of my way to have nice gems and everything. I'm a little low on health in the arcane playthrough because I've been straight going for 99 arcane as quickly as possible. But yeah. Now, we have a new encounter here. We've got these silver beasts, which are kind of like the werewolves. And then we've got giant crystal lizards, or wandering madnesses. If they disappear, just save quit. But they can hurt you. Now, one of these larger wandering madnesses towards the end of the level will have 2 chunks for us. And that's the big reason to be here. Another reason would be if you want to participate in some PvP. If you don't, play offline. If you do, or if you want to have a friend come play, you need to make a beeline for the witch, or the bell-ringing woman, take care of them. Or maybe you could do this offline. Go right to where they stand, then quit and go online and kill her. And then you could summon your friend. Although at that point you're halfway through the level. So you're better off probably just sprinting for it, killing her. Then, that would be more of a suicide run. Then summoning a friend to come join you to explore through the area. That being said, the game, I was really pleasantly surprised. I got invaded a couple times, and I was really pleasantly surprised by how quickly I got invaded in here. So I'm kind of pleased that it seems people were playing this game back in August or September, whenever I was playing this. And here we've got a couple of fun guys. I'm just going to let this fight speak for itself. So fights like these are my favorite aspect of Bloodborne. Going one-on-one with a hunter who's, for the most part, under the same rule set as you. And limited in similars. Now, they do have beefed up health and unlimited ammo. But, I don't know, just the feel of the game just feels the best when you're going against those. I don't know about you. It's most enjoyable for me, which is why I actually find I enjoy being invaded and prefer to play in these areas online. Well, mostly this area. I don't really like being invaded in the other potential area because it has a common issue that, which is probably why there isn't a... what's the word I'm looking for? Probably why there isn't as crazy of a swamp area in Bloodborne is because they have just a crazy FU area in the second dream where you can get invaded that you can eventually make more reasonable. But we're going to get introduced to a new status effect while we're here. And, we've seen it already. Frenzy. We saw it on the run-up to Amelia. But we're going to get introduced to enemies that can just give that to you through more bullshit means. There's not really a nice way to say it. I am not a fan of the Winter Lanterns and how they build up the frenzy status on you so effectively. That being said, they're not a very common enemy, and what they can drop is very nice. Very nice. High five. Like, they can drop some ridiculous blood gems, and I do actually go out of my way to at least take a crack at each of the Winter Lanterns in this portion of the dream. And I also make mistakes, which you're going to see here in just a second. So I have an advice for running through this area. Take care of the giants. They're going to throw rocks at you. Sprint on through and take care of the giants. Now, I had a good portion of souls, so I decided to go offline while I ran for it because I didn't want to run the risk of being invaded while having 18k on the line. I'm pretty confident I can get back there and get my souls. I'm not very confident if I get invaded, if I can get back. And now here we have our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. This is actually Patches, the guy that sent us into the nightmare to begin with. He's moved on to the next area along with us, or he's in two places at the same time. It's complicated. But anyway, he's standing right there, getting ready to spring a trap for you to fall into. And it's kind of fun because you can mess with him a little bit. Actually, I don't know. That kind of doesn't look exactly like him. Maybe I'm overthinking it. It looks like he's got hair, and I don't remember Patches having hair. That could just be the lighting in this video. But down you go. Patches plays a very similar role in this game to what he does in the other Soulsborne games. He is a prankster. He does it for different reasons in this particular situation. Oh, check this out. I got really lucky. I got super lucky there. But yeah, he plays a similar role, except he doesn't end up at, like, Firelink Shrine. So he doesn't end up in the Cathedral Wards as a merchant. He actually shows up in the Chalice Dungeons as a merchant. I'm not really sure if he's a good merchant or not, but he still has some goods to give us. So it may or may not be worth killing him. I'm not sure in this game. In most games, I would consider it not worth it. So here, I'm going to not follow my own advice. I'm going to go ahead and kill him, but I am rolling out of the way. And it's not really worth it. It's just Bloodstone Shards. If anything, this is a good indicator of why we belong here. So the upgrade materials we're getting are, not really useful to us. They're on par with what we should be getting. So this is an area that's immediately accessible after Amelia, and they fully expect that you might come here on accident. And it's designed to be. You get your first set of chunks here, and most of the items you get are Twin Bloods, so you can get your weapon up to a +6. So we do in fact belong here. Probably the biggest challenge here to actually fight outside of the boss would be maybe the Winter Lanterns, but a strong contender would be the NPC Hunters, especially because there's 2 of them. So here I am just trying to take care of these guys, and I get super duper lucky again. While I was unlucky in this run through, I also was quite lucky in others, so it kind of balanced out. But like, here's what I mean, like going ahead and clearing these guys out if you want to go this way to collect the loot here is pretty much the way to go about it. I'm actually going to be right back. I need to pause the stream and get myself some water. I hope you'll forgive me. Alright, and I'm back. No time for you, but I did need to get that water. My mouth is getting quite dry. There are areas in Bloodborne that they encourage you to run through. Some through rocks being thrown at you. Others by status effects, such as poison, which would be a little bit below us here. And others being like status effects that will straight up kill you. Just curse. And this isn't the only game that does that. I mean, I can immediately think of areas in every Soulsborne game that have that, like the Valley of Defilement. They don't want you sticking around it too long. They want you to run through the Poison Swamp. Blighttown, similar story. They want you to get rid of the blow dart guys, so you have to rush up and get them without getting hit. Otherwise, it makes it hard to, get through. So I've just run back down. And I've save and quit so I can just collect any of the Wandering Madnesses that got taken care of while I was running through here, or that disappeared. It allows me to survey the area in a much more detailed manner. In Dark Souls 2, we've got not the gutter, but the area below it. I can't remember it off the top of my head. And then in Dark Souls 3, we've got the Poison Swamp. And also the area running up to the... They don't use poison for this. The running up to the cathedral in Dark Souls 3, where you have all those dogs. They kind of just encourage you to just sprint through that, so you don't have to deal with it. So this is a section where they actually intend for you to run through it rather than take your time. And there are areas where maybe that's not immediately the intention, but I think it's just the better winning strategy. You know, it's just maybe a particular section's not fun to fight through, or I'm not sure. It's just it's the way I prefer to play it now. Areas too. I don't know if I've talked about that. We've definitely gone through some that have done that. Here I've signed back online because I want the potential to be invaded. That kick really got me. Ironically, you want to be in front of these guys so you don't get that giant horse kick on you. I'm about to get invaded again, I think. I'm not sure. But here we have our lovely trap, which should seem familiar. If you look over to the right, you see twinkling or shiny coins on the ground. And that's this game's equivalent of prism stones. And that's pretty famous for patches using prism stones to bait the player in Demon Souls. I don't know if they are called prism stones in Demon Souls or not. Demon Souls is actually the Soulsborne game I have the smallest amount of experience with. I am quite looking forward to the remake if I can ever get a PS5. But I am quite looking forward to the remake of Demon Souls, although I am concerned because I've played a little bit of it, and I am kind of frustrated by the clunky controls. And the way they're describing it, they're trying to stay very true to the original controls. And while I respect that, I do hope they tune them to make them tighter and feel responsive rather than clunky. Because that is one thing I kind of dislike Demon Souls for. A lot of people find it charming. I don't. And I noticed this in editing, that I no longer really should not do the riposte. I did about 2.1 times the damage that I do, maybe 2.3 or 2.4 times the damage that I do if I just do the heavy backstab. That's because of our skill scaling here. And time for the Patches Trap. So as you can see, even if you knock him down like I did, the trap still does activate. And actually, to be honest, it's not really a bad place for you to fall in to the poison swamp bog. I would say this is a swamp. In Demon Souls, Patches pushes you down a cliff. In Dark Souls, Patches pushes you down a cliff. And in Bloodborne, Patches pushes down a cliff. But Patches pushes you down a... that is hard to say. But there's not really... If you're following the playthrough and you've collected all the things I've collected, there's really not much reason to go through the poison swamp. I wanted to show off the whole area. That's why I did it. Really, all you need to do is just sprint through the main way. And then unlock the shortcut for yourself, and then try to get the chunks available near-ish to Amygdala. That is the main reason we're here. I'll try to put a timestamp in the video to where that is, so that way, if you want to just go straight for those chunks, you can kind of know where they are. I don't make a direct sprint for them, but the end of the video shows a good path. But yeah, there's really not much reason I can think of actually to come through here, short of if you're wanting to upgrade another weapon. I get really lucky with these 3 guys, and they just line up perfectly. One thing that's kind of good to talk about here is you probably noticed I have not popped an antidote. The poison buildup is just so fast that by the time you're done with the animation of popping an antidote, you're well on your way to being poisoned again. So, unless you spec for high poison resistance, it's not going to make an appreciable difference. And even if you do, the buildup is still quite quick, especially for the situation we're in. So, my advice is to go the same route that I'm doing and just heal through it. Nothing will be as threatening while simultaneously being as not threatening as Dark Souls 2 poisoning. Dark Souls 2 poison it just takes off, it flies. But you can just pop 2 life gems because all healing is regenerated based. And it just doesn't really matter. I tried to do something and I failed here. But there's something you can do where if you successfully get the parry off during that grab attack and you do the riposte, you're immune while that riposte is happening. So when the frenzy kicks in and takes 70% of your health, you're currently in an iframe, so you don't take the damage. Which is what I was trying to do there. There's other ways to get around it too. Straight out healing is fine. At this point though, I am going to have to give up on being in the swamp. And luckily, I've collected it in the more hidden half. I've kind of looted it pretty dry. So, I've kind of come what I did here to do. I'm not sure what my motivations were at this point. Maybe I was double checking to see if I had missed anything of note. And not really. I would have been better off just homer boning and saving myself the 2 blood vials that I use to do the exploration. Because by the time we get here, we're back on the main path. Really nothing worth it. So, homeward bone, get out of there. Save yourself the blood vials. I do think it is here. I go ahead, and, I've got 38k. No point in not spending the echoes on levels or anything. Walking around, especially in an area you can be invaded with a high amount of echoes is just asking for it. What am I trying to do here? Am I trying to hear her? Maybe I just couldn't get the prompt to go.
Hunter. I must have drifted off. What is it you desire? Very well. Let the echoes become your strength. Let me stand. Farewell, good hunter.
So now we're going into strength because we've kind of hit a soft cap when it comes to the benefits of the skill scaling. So I'm investing into strength. And like I said, you can do this in any order. Just make sure your primary offensive stat is skill if you're following my build. If you want to do health, stamina, then the other things first so you can be a tank. It's a fantastic way to learn things and play in this game. It it lowers your overall damage output, but it allows you to make more mistakes. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if you can survive your mistakes, because being able to immediately reflect on and learn from that mistake is something you can only do with well, you know, like only if you survive. If you die and you end up you know, having to learn from the mistake, you're gonna have to play with it and, you know, have to run back. And so there's a whole long-term gap for you to look out and practice that thing that caused you the mistake in the first place. So anybody that tells you shouldn't invest in health, or if it's the wuss strategy, or it's not how you get good, don't listen to them. It is 100% a great way to get good. And then ignoring health is something you can do when you have more practice in the game. You've learned how to not dodge. And here we get another fight. And so I'm going to let everyone in on a secret. You probably have noticed that I have not healed during any of this PvP. And it's kind of it's frowned upon. Sure, you can, but it is certainly frowned upon if you heal. And this guy is expressly built for PvP when you look at him. He's using the scythe and the cannon. And those are all intended to be effective at killing players. So here I pretty much got him dead to rights. And he heals. Unlucky. But yeah, don't heal. If you're specifically invading people, or you're just, you know, you're intending to do PvP, healing is kind of a dick move. And if you're invading someone, you're intending to do PvP. There's not really any sort of covenant really that dependent on PvP where you get a major benefit. So the only reason you would do it is for fun. And so it is kind of frustrating that our adversary there kind of didn't respect the gentleman's code. So let's see what Patches was baiting us with here. Just cold blood, flower blood. It's a good item for doing rituals for chalices. It's one of the, you know, not immediately common ones. So it's kind of nice to have one right there. So in front of us is the mandatory swamp section. This is the section you have to run through, and you can just go straight through it. And quite frankly, that's pretty much my recommendation if you're running through here. Just go straight through there, get to the other side, heal a couple times, use an antidote once you make it through, and kill the Child of Giants or whatever his name is, and then be on your way. Because, like I said, at this point, there's not much of use for us. Now, if you haven't been following your playthrough and you're just following me on this particular video because you just got here after fighting Amelia, then yeah, I would, you know, go the directions I'm going. Loot the place entirely. Get yourself a +6 weapon. Although, if you had been, you already had one. But, you know, you get the idea. This would, like, From Software at this point really wants everybody to have a +6 weapon. They have specifically gone out of their way to shove twin bloodstone shards in her face at this point in the game. They haven't really been too generous with chunks yet, but, you know, knowing where they are is helpful. And now we're in the swamp. I'm not really sure. I'm going to have to look up what these guys are. Maybe I can put it on the screen. But I think they're Lovecraftian inspired. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. So apparently they're called crawlers, and there's only one name for them. They don't have normal crawler and large crawler, just crawler, regardless of size. So we're getting to the point now where I'm planning on showing off the path directly to the bell ringing woman. We'll see how successfully I do that. I don't remember. It's been a while. And then I also show off the... that might be a wrong word for it. We just progressed through. We're going to be going through the mandatory swamp. The bell ringing woman's path is much more direct than I initially remember or misremember it, because I could have sworn it was over here the first time I played. And it is not. She's not there. For whatever reason, I thought this was the location, and it is just sincerely not the case, unfortunately. Me just trying to think through that. Pat, come on past me, I can do it. You can parry these guys. I don't show that off here, though. So I am finding that I am regretting... maybe it's because I didn't do the project quick enough, but I am regretting that I haven't... how do I put it? Kind of played at the same time as recording. I initially did this because I wanted to complete the entire run, and I still intend on doing that, but I'm feeling kind of disconnected from my videos and the content I recorded, having trouble recalling what I've done, on part because it's been months since I did this playthrough, and I was in a different state of life. I had a job, and the world wasn't crazy. As of today, the AP system has claimed it. So yeah, that's how you get to her. You actually run straight to the beach here and hang a right. That's how you get to her. If you want to invite a friend, just beeline right there to the beach, hang your right, kill her, and then invite your friend. Well, that being said, though, there's no motivation to not invite your friend either, though, because she's there regardless. Inviting a friend to other areas will incur a bell-ringing woman to spawn. And I just learned today that the bell-ringing woman has a different name than the bell-ringing maiden or woman, and it is Chime Maiden. Who would have thought? But yeah, like, I mean, there are some goodies here. Nothing immediately comes to mind, though. It's really not worth the run through. I keep saying that. I do like this level actually quite a bit. I atmospherically like it. The poison is, you know, mildly annoying, but it's not too bad. It's not too frustrating. It is annoying into that the idea that, you know, it made me go through all of my health items and I had to restart voluntarily at one point, but I might have done that anyway. With, you know, I was holding 38k. Very well something I could have just decided to do. So that's that. But yeah, like as I said, I'm wondering, I'm considering replaying in this game, getting back up to this point that I've recorded, re-recording it, and doing the commentary associated with it. This would benefit me for a couple of reasons, and also not be beneficial for others. One reason it's not beneficial is I've got a lot of video games to play. Code Vein was just on sale on Steam. I've been playing Dragon Quest. I need to finish Persona 4 Golden, because it's been on Steam for a while yet now. I've got lots of games I want to play, and the PS5 is on the horizon. But I do love Bloodborne. All right, important coming up is a large wandering madness, and it's the reason to come to this level at this point. No one would be angry at you. I certainly wouldn't be angry at you if you were just following this playthrough. And this is the only section you cared about. Just come in here, get your chunks, get out. That being said, we are appropriately leveled to be here, so there's no reason not to come through and just do everything. There's another Wintern Lantern. Wintern? Lantern? Don't fight him yet. There's not really any point. Because we're very close to shortcut. Don't fall. But yeah, we're very close to unlocking a shortcut so that we could farm that Winter Lantern effectively if we had the desire to. And, you know, there is good reason to. Winter Lanterns here can give some pretty solid gems, especially with our current power level within the game. It'd be a good way to... You could farm those instead of farming chunks, because I think that the better... You'd be more likely to get good blood gems than it would take to get 7 chunks from the gargoyles over in Cainhurst Castle. Although, personally, if I was playing the game without being recorded, I'd probably do both. If I was wanting to do as efficiently as possible. Without going into Chalice dungeons, my preferred method on getting gems is to actually go through the DLC all the way up to Orphan of Kos. And right next to Orphan, there are 2 Winter Lanterns, and they drop some very good gems. So now that I've unlocked the shortcut, I don't even have 8k souls or echoes. There's no reason not to go ahead and fight these Winter Lanterns, see if I get a lucky drop. I'm not going to farm, but I thought, hey, I might as well, while I'm here, just see if I can get lucky. And unfortunately, I only got bullets from all 3 of them. I think this is the only place you see these guys. I've never seen them in a chalice. Yeah, this has to be it. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I've only seen the Winter Lanterns here and within the nightmares. I haven't actually seen them in the Chalice dungeons, which is probably a good thing. However, these guys could totally fit in the fishing handler. I don't know. They're pretty terrifying. They kind of remind me of the Gaping Dragon, like a tiny version of it. Especially when they show off their mouth. I mean, could you imagine tasting that muck all the time? Just, this dirty, dingy... I'm putting my mouth in it. No wonder you get transformed into a giant, horrific horror. Here we go. Look at that mouth. I've got to say, this is probably the most I've killed in a single playthrough running through this area. While I do appreciate it, I like the boss. I'm not usually a big fan of large bosses, but the Amygdala boss fight, I quite like. Ironically, the weapon I've chosen to use is not the most effective against her. But we play it out. Now, I'm behind her, so I'm not getting any frenzy buildup. Unfortunately, though, she turns around in time. And that is going to build up on me, so I need to have the proper amount of health. I think what they whisper in your head using the light is they go, hey, if you move your muscles this way, and the hunter goes like, yeah, you can force 70% of your blood out of your body. And then it happens, and they go, oh, why did you tell me that? I don't know. The idea here is it's very kind of like Call of Cthulhu, Lovecraftian horror madness, understanding of things that are not meant to be understood or comprehensible by the constraints of the human mind. And it's causing us to basically short-circuit our brains. And not in a fun LSD way, but in a exploding your brain kind of way. For those who don't know, LSD is a short circuit in the a brain that causes your senses to get confused, which is why people often report tasting colors or hearing smells, things like that. It's a confusion of the senses as your brain just short circuits itself. However, luckily it's not as deadly as a traditional electrical short circuit. And I still could not get that parry off. And the mouse. If you look at the dress, apparently it's supposed to be the dress of one of the characters we see. Maybe the doll, or maybe it's the noble dress. I don't know. The Asvati. So at this point, we've kind of cleared the area. We've unlocked our shortcut, and we can run and get gems. So that is the Nightmare Frontier. We have done it, ladies and gentlemen. We are 2 chunks away from having a +8 weapon. And that is that. I hope you all have a lovely night and you stay safe.